Hi, Dr. E here, coming at you from the home studio. And we're here to talk about the final 3 weeks of English 4322. And we're going to be talking about board relations. Now, any nonprofit in the United States that's actually a certified 501c3 nonprofit organization, which is an IRS or income tax designation, it has a board of directors, which is a group of people, almost always volunteers, who are not staff members, who have the fiduciary and often operational responsibility for the organization. They are the people who are your boss's boss. They're the people that the executive director responds to. Now, they've chosen it, for a lot of different reasons to be on the board. Sometimes they have expertise. They know about something. They might have a commission or a commitment to a cause. People for a sports-related nonprofit might believe that if a child plays sports or their sports, they're going to do better. If maybe for a health-related nonprofit, maybe they had somebody die of cancer or AIDS, but they've got some commitment. Sometimes they're asked because they have a particular area of expertise. Maybe they're a lawyer, or they have some skills that they can donate to the board. Sometimes they're asked because they have money or they know other donors. They can help bring money into the organization. But for whatever reason, they're deeply committed to the work of the organization. My wife worked for a nonprofit in Abilene that provided wonderful services to people who had the HIV virus. And it was actually initially developed by a group of people, a group of volunteers who had families, usually their children, the loved ones, impacted by AIDS back when it was a real social stigma. And they basically worked and worked and worked until that organization became a nonprofit with a paid staff doing services really over much of the state. So, for example, I was very concerned, I still am concerned about the lack of affordable housing for low-income folks in Corpus Christi. So I served on a board for one of those low-income housing units as well. So basically, this is what the board does. They're the interface between the organization and the community, but ultimately they are responsible for the work of the old organization. They hold legal and fiduciary responsibility, but they also hold the staff accountable as well. And they are also a big part of the writing that nonprofit staff do as well. Now, this unit's going to be a little bit different because we're only going to do 2 kinds of writing because one of the writings that we're going to do is really big. 2 most common kinds of writing that I'm talking about are the report to the board. Generally, boards for nonprofits meet every month, and often the executive director will write, or the staff will write a report to the board, letting people know all the things that have gone on in that last month in the organization. Could be good news, could be accomplishments, could be problems, and generally it's a mix of things as well. And generally these are written and then distributed to the board members prior to the meeting so they can prepare and ask questions, and sometimes pose questions to the staff who can bring answers to the board that might require a little bit of research, a little bit more information as well. That's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do, and it's going to take a little bit longer, is an annual report. Now, we're going to look at some examples of annual reports, and some annual reports are very, very long, very, very involved. But it's like a combination of a financial report, a big newsletter, a yearbook, all the great things that we've done in the past year, and thanking our donors as well. Lots of pictures, lots of layout things. We're going to look at some examples for those. So that's what we're doing the last unit in the semester. This is going to break over Thanksgiving break, and we're going to get started now, actually today or this week, on working on our board report. That's going to be submitted. The final, you're going to get some peer review and submit that sample board report next week. And then the rest of the time, we're going to be working on our annual report. And I'm not going to ask you to do the entire annual report. I'm going to ask you to do, I believe it's 2 pages just to get it started. And believe it or not, we actually have a lot of tech writing students here at TAMUCC actually do annual reports as service projects for nonprofits because they're important, they're shown to the community, and sometimes staff don't have time to do them. So that's what we're doing this week. Press ahead, keep the faith, and I look forward to reading more of your writing. Thanks.